us being super young, how can we decide what we master on?
Yeah. Well, here's some of the things that I hope you're figuring out. If I were 22 and my name were Braden and I was really just starting life out, here's a handful of things that I would absolutely do. Number one, demand that you become the best in your role of your company. Because you'll always earn more and more money if you're the best. So you want to be the most valuable player. By the way, when you own a company, you don't deserve to own one unless you're going to be the best. If you're going to say, well, there's good money to make from competing, you're out. You're either you either have the best product, you either have the cheapest product, or you have the fastest product. Those are the three forms of innovation in business. If you're not striving to be one of those out of your entire industry, you don't deserve to compete, because you certainly will not be top of the heap. You won't be a contender. So look at your personal life that way. How do you be the best in your role in the company at the highest level? By the way, if you're the best and there's no one else to chase, that is a poor excuse to not say, well, now there's a responsibility as a leader in my industry to figure out how to double it again. There is a way. So number one, master. Don't be good at it. Don't make good money. Don't stop when you hit a certain amount. Master the field that you're in. And across every company in the world, be the best. That's not audacious. That's just simply a formula for putting yourself on track for having the best life possible. Number two, at a young age, build the habits to take care of your body and make it strong. Put muscle on that body, because I promise you, mortality over time is going to make the physique game more and more challenging. I'm 42, I'm in the best shape of my life. I still don't know what that means. I probably won't discover it for a really long time, because when I was really early, I already made the decision that I was going to be the strongest that I could be at every age possible. When I'm 65, I will be stronger than when I'm 60. My body is capable of that. I'm treating it that way. So I've made a commitment to my body, because I never want my body to be a reason why I suffer performance in any other area of my life. Number three, what you're doing, Braden, on Breakthrough, lean in hard and master that game. Nothing in life, nothing will take you further than mastering every belief that are a part of your 60,000 thoughts a day. It touches everything. It is 1,000,000 times more valuable than money. Master breakthrough in your life, because your relationships will be better off with everyone, including yourself. Now your health's in line, and financially you put yourself in a good way. Number four, live way below your means and invest the difference. Live below your means. Number five, decide right now, I'm a professional investor. And you're not, but to become it, believe it. And then you want to diversify. You want to own lots of real estate, but you want to own lots of everything else. Eventually you want to own companies. And those are the five biggest things I would do if I were you at your age.
So I have a follow-up question to this, and this might sound very
No, don't judge it.
Okay,
Don't judge it.
So when you say master of the field, right? I think this is a personal thing for me. So a portion of our business I'm very, very, very good at, right? And as we get bigger and better, I feel like my skills now are overflowing to other parts of the business.
Yes.
That I'm not a master.
Yes.
Right? Like they're and so the option is like, okay, either I'm a master of solar, so I scoop that into my umbrella.
Yes.
Or I say that is not my thing.
Yes.
We need to find someone that fixes that one.
Yes.
And I invest, this is a very underdeveloped question, but I think I'm trying to figure out, for me, if it's my responsibility, I need to absorb it all, right? Like I need to master it, or is, where do you find the line of...
Great question. So there are two things on this, and I've never shared this advice with anyone, but this advice has been deeply meaningful to my results. When you have an opportunity to learn something new, you have to stop and ask, what are the consequences? What are the consequences of learning this or not learning this? As a business owner, I took 1 decade of my life and I made a huge mistake. I had zero interest in accounting because I took accounting in college and I didn't get it. And I decided my mind is good at statistics, I'm not good at accounting. And I made a decision, my mind doesn't work that way. That cost me insane amounts of time. When I finally mastered it, I saw the world different. I did business differently, and everything changed. I wish I could go back, and there's a regret. I wish I could go back and say, Kris, do not ignore accounting. You must learn this. That doesn't mean go to college. It doesn't mean read an accounting book. I needed to learn how to understand my P&Ls, my financials, and I didn't. And it cost me dearly. So I couldn't afford to ignore that, and I know that now. So that's one where I needed it, but I didn't know what I didn't know. Here's the dangerous thing. The truth is, the most dangerous information is what you don't know. But that doesn't mean you should know everything. It means that you have to be very careful. And you should be asking a lot of people, should I learn this or should I not? In your company, the answer to that question of what you do lean into and what you don't will determine your success. If you say yes to the wrong things and you say no to the wrong things, you're only going to get a small fraction of what you deserve, which means that success in life comes down to yeses and nos. And so before you assume you should learn something, you should seek to understand it. Who will I become if I learn this? How will this grow me if I learn this? Am I the person to learn this? And then you consult with people that have valuable insights that can help weigh in. So you should be asking Josh, should I learn this or do we get someone for this? And don't trust Josh. Josh is just a piece, because Josh is trusting you to be smarter than a robot that just does what he says. So get advice from him. Get advice from outsiders. Get advice from insiders. If you want advice from God, or to tap into higher self, or a loved one, sometimes going slower is how you go really fast in life. And it took me way too long to learn. I thought that going fast was always faster. False. Slow down on a big decision of, hey, if I learn this, it's going to require hundreds of hours. That's a lot of time. Pause. Should I? What would I get if I did? What might it cost me if I don't? How could it hurt me if I do? And you got to look at it evenly and evaluate it. And then if it's a yes, you go all in and you acquire it. So there's 1,000 worthy things for you to learn, but there's only 22 of them that matter to make every dream come true. So if you say yes to the wrong things, you're going to wake up 20 years from now and say, dang it, how come I'm not further along? And that's because you said yes to the wrong things.
So I guess like along with that, something that I've been thinking a lot about, and I think it's something that we see especially in our industry, is the 5 people that you're closest with are the sum of who you are. So what if you recognize, whether it's in a company setting or even with your close relationships, that one of those 5 people don't belong. You don't want to blame them, because there's obviously something you can fix yourself, but there does need to be that boundary, like you're saying. It's either emotional intelligence or it's a boundary. At what point do you cut off, whether it's a friend or a coworker or somebody that's not adding anymore?
So while it is true that the 5 people you spend the most time with help determine who you become, you have to ask yourself, does that mean that one of those 5 should be someone that I'm helping that has little to offer me? Does that mean that one of the 5 should be extraordinarily so far out of my league beyond where I'm at? There are some people that need to be in your life that have little to offer you, because where they're at, it will take time for them to get to a place where they can contribute. And I'm gonna be very honest, this amazing woman that I'm with, we went through stretches when I had a lot more to give her than she had to give me. But a time came when she had a lot more to give me than I would have ever thought possible. So think of a child. You bring a child into this world, and I'm promising you, some children are going to be the biggest pain in your butt. And if your rule is, well, you're emotionally costing me, you get out of my life, you're probably not going to be that great of a parent. So sometimes we have a stewardship to keep certain people in our life because we are there to serve them and love them. Similarly, most people will not put enough successful people in their life to help elevate and bring them up. I think it's a balance. It would be selfish if all 5 people were better than you, because I believe that we often grow by also having turnaround to give. and to elevate other people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, when intuition says this person is optional, they bring me down, I have very little to give them and they, I think, have very little to give me, and intuition says they shouldn't be in your life, make the decision. But I think it comes down to this, and I'm going to use this strange word. Do you have a social contract with them? I have a contract with each of my children. I have a contract with my wife. That doesn't mean they're always in a position to give to me. Sometimes my contract is for me to give to them. So I would just ask, do I have a contract with you? When you came on Monday to my office for a breakthrough, why did you do that?
Well, I knew that I would walk away with something that'd be invaluable that changed my life.
And why did I allow you in my life?
I'd like to believe it's because you believe that that's the same thing for me as well, and you want to spend that time to add to me.
I have a contract to help people that are ready to grow. And just about any person I meet on this planet that wants to grow, there's a high likelihood that I'm supposed to be in their life, and then I'm going to embrace it. Often they have little to give me other than the fulfillment that I get from serving them, which it like means everything to me.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's not about growing, it's not about getting. Sometimes it's about just knowing that you're fulfilling your mission and purpose in life. So I would invite you to ask a question of all your relationships and keep this question for the rest of your life. Do I have contract with this person? You might date a girl and ask after the first date, in your heart, do I have contract with this person? And intuition might say, no. Please don't give them a second date. That would dishonor you and them. After that first date, you go internally and ask, do I have contract with this person? It's like, oh, I'm feeling some yes energy. Go on another date, pursue that. I make the decision, not who I'm in a relationship with, but who I give my time to, based on the answer to this question.
Have you ever wanted a multimillionaire to step in your shoes and give you perspective on what they would do if they were you? Well, guess what? I am pausing my podcast for this brief moment to make sure you have access to my cell phone, because you can text me, Kris, I want a free game plan. Literally just text 385-217-3477. And I got news for you. You can ask me a question about anything. You can ask me a question about life, the meaning and purpose of it. We can talk about finances, business, real estate, marriage. If you got a question, text me. Let's jam.
So Josh asked me, he said, hey Kris, will you come down to Texas and spend a day with our people? My logic wanted to say no. Hop on a Zoom, do 90 minutes. Like, I had all sorts of voices in my head. And then when I dropped into my intuition, I said, do I have contract with this invitation? And the answer was yes. I didn't think a second more about it. I booked the plane and I'm here. So when I spend time with anyone, because I value my time, I always ask, do I have a contract? And if I don't, I'm upfront. Some people ask, can I have some of your time? And if I get a no answer here, I just say, nope. It's not to be rude. It's not to reject them. It's just that that's not how I'm supposed to use my sacred time. So it's a great question to add to your life, because beyond the 5 people you spend time with, there's hundreds of others. And you got to ask, do you have contract with this person? Will I be a benefit? Will they be a benefit to me? There's a give and take in the cycle of giving and receiving. And it's important to open up both flow valves to give and receive. We need both of them. Some people just want to give. They become depleted. They don't get what they need. Some people take, and they can't figure out why they're so unfulfilled privately. So open up both flow valves and just ask, who am I supposed to be with? Who am I supposed to serve? Who am I supposed to help?